You're welcome to my channel, Mindset Academy, where we are told to construct a pinion and a rack in mesh, right? So, and the questions that was given under this problem says a pinion with 20 teeth is to mesh with a rack whose teeth have a pressure angle of 20 degree and an addendum of 6 mm. The travel of the rack is to be 125 mm. Show the rack and pinion in mesh and tabulate the data, right? So this is what we have done. We've already tabulated the data. We are only given three parameters. We are given the number of teeth, which is 20. We're given the pressure angle, and we're given what? The addendum. Are we together now? And also the travel of the rack. Now we are going to calculate for the rest. What we calculated for was the PCD, which is the pitch circle diameter here. And the formula for it is giving us the number of teeth times the module. And the module is not given in the question, but the module is equals to what? The addendum. So if the addendum is 6, meaning that the module also was 6, that's why I input my 6 here. By the time you now input your 6 here, you input your number of teeth here, you'll be having 20 times 6, and that'll give us what? 120 millimeter. That is what? Our pitch circle diameter. Is that okay? Now, similarly, the addendum was not given. We calculated for the addendum, which is giving us the addendum plus the clearance, right? And the addendum is 6, but the clearance is not given, right? So, and the clearance is given as 0.25 multiplied by module. By the time you put your module here, multiply 0.25 times the module, which is 6. So 6 times 0.25 will give us 1.5. So our clearance is given as 1.5. So when you add it together with the addendum, you're having what? 7.5. So the addendum is what? 7.5 millimeter, as you can see here, right? And also we have the BCD, which is given as the base circle diameter. And one of the way in calculating it is given as the PCD cos the pressure angle, right? Now, and our PCD is 120, our pressure angle is 20, so 120 cos 20 is what? 112.76. Are we good now? And I input it here, my BCD here, base circle diameter. Now, similarly, we have the CP, which is circular pitch, and that's giving us the pi times the module. And by the time you do that, pi is 22/7 times the module, which is 6, and you'll be having what? 18.85 millimeter. And circular 2 thickness is giving us the circular pitch all over 2, right? And that will give us 18.85 over 2, so that is 9.43. Now the fillet, will calculate for the fillet when we've already constructed our gear, and the gear travel with that for the rack, 125 millimeter. So everything that we have for the pressure angle for the pinion will be the same thing we're going to input for what? For the rack, right? So like the clearance 1.5, also the clearance is 1.5. The circular tooth thickness 9.43, right? The circular pitch is still 18.85. Are we good? So this is what we have on this. So you're going to input it this way. Now the next thing is for we to start drawing our gear. We'll start drawing what? The gear. So the first thing you do, right? Now I want you to understand this. The rack is a pinion that is spread out. The pinion is circular, right? The rack is what? Linear. Is that okay now? Just like example, you have your gear rack, your steering rack, right? You wonder that you move your steering circular and the wheel of your tire is moving horizontally. Is that okay now? But we'll get there as we move forward. So I will just take my meter rule and I will draw my vertical line this way, right? And I will draw the other one too this way. Hope you can see that, right? So where they are meeting here is called my pitch point. This is what? My pitch point. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to draw the first step is for you to draw what is called the PCD. Right? The what? PCD. And the PCD is given as 120. So I will take my meter rule and my compass, right? And I'll take half of 120. Since the diameter, we need to draw a circle, so we need the radius. So when I measure my 120, I'll take it to this point and I'll mark and I'll place it here. Then I'm going to draw my circle this way. You can see that? That is the first thing that I have done here. Now the next thing I will be doing will be, so this is the PCD, the pitch circle diameter, right? And the next thing I'm going to be drawing will be the addendum. The addendum is always the radial height of the tooth above the what? The PCD. So anything outside the what? The PCD, right, is can be the addendum, right? So I'll just take my addendum and it's given to be 6. So I'll take my meter rule and I'm going to measure 6 from this point here. So from here, this is 6. Can you see that? Then I'll still take my meter rule and I'll place it at this point here, the midpoint. I'll take it to where I measured the PCD, the addendum. Then I'll draw another circle. Hope you can see that. That is my addendum. And the addendum is below the what? The PCD. The addendum is above. The addendum you are adding, the addendum you are taking it in. The addendum here is what? 7.5. So I'm going to measure 7.5 here. From here we have from this pitch point, I'll measure 7.5. This is 5, 6, 7.5 will be here. Right? 5, 6, 7.5. Then I'm going to take my meter rule from where they are meeting the center of the gear and I'm going to draw another circle. You can see that? So that is what we have there. Now the next thing is the base circle diameter. And the base circle diameter calculated for is given to be what? 112 point what? 0.76, and half of it will give me 56.38, right? So I'll take my meter rule and I'm going to measure 56.38 on my meter rule this way. From 0, this is 55, 56.3 will be somewhere around here, right? And I'll take it to this point and I'm going to draw another circle. Hope you can see that. So what I should just do here is start naming them from here so that I will not make mistakes. Now we know that from this point here, the first one we have here is my what? My addendum. Right? And the other one inside here is my PCD, pitch circle diameter. Then the other one inside here, let me come here, we have my BCD, base circle diameter. Then the last but not the least here is my dedendum, So it's not necessary to write this. That's the dedendum we have there. So we'll start. So after you've done this, the next thing we should be doing is I would love to zoom it up so we have a clearer view of what we're about to do. So this is what we have here, right? So we'll start. So we know this is the addendum. I'll mark the point here, A, to be that for my addendum. A here, this point is my addendum. And the base circle, if you trace it, this is the base circle here. I'll take it to be what? E. So the base circle is given as point E. Now I need to get 1/3 of AE, right? 1/3 of AE. You can easily divide it, or the best way to be fast here is to measure AE. So for me to what? Measure AE. So from 0 here, right, to this point here, we're having like we have from 0 to E here, right? That is almost 11 here, right? So we'll be having it, if you have measure it, we're having 11, so divide 11 by 3, I'll be having 3.67, right? So I'll just measure from this point here, 0, right? This is 1, 2, 3.67, somewhere around here. So that point there I'm marking will be my point what? My point B. This will be what? My point B. So from that point B, I'll draw a line that will be tangential to the base circle from B. So if this is my base circle here, right, I'll draw a line tangential to it this way. This is the tangential line here. So it is meeting it at this point here. So I'll call that point my point F. Can you see that? Now get 1/3 of BF. 1/4 of BF. That means I'll measure BF and I'll divide it by 4 or use a line division. So if I measure BF here from 0 to B to F, from B to F, right? So we have 0, this is 10, 20, 24. So 24 divided by 4, and that is what? 7, 20, 28, 24 divided by 4, that is 6 altogether. So I'll measure 6, and this is I'll start from this point here, and I'll measure 6. From here, I'm going to measure 6 from 0 to 6. So this point you see here is my point what? I'll call it point D. Altogether. Then I will now take my compass and I'll place it at the midpoint of the gear here, and I'll take it to D. This is D here. Then I'll draw a circle on D this way. So that circle you see, that is where we should just mark that. It's in between the BCD and the base circle. So that circle, that was our reference circle, right? So if I place it from that D, right, to B, is that taken? Then I'll draw an arc this way. Hope you can see that. So where the arc cuts the BCD here, the PCD, I'll call it my point C. So from that point C, I will now take the circular tooth thickness, which is 9.43, and I'll mark it round. Every 2 points makes 1 teeth, right? So I'll come here from 0 to 9.43, somewhere around here, and I'll place it from this point here. So if I place it at C, I'll mark again on this point. So that point I mark will make it 1 complete teeth altogether. So I'll come and mark around. So let's go. I'll count till we have 1, this is 2, 1, this is 3. I'll do that round. and so on and so forth here. Right? So now what we have, we marked it around. So what I'll do is, this is what I'm going to do now. Since I moved from D, right, to C to get this, then I'll now come right from here, right? So I'll mark on the line of D, this is the line of D here. I'll come to this point, I'll draw an arc this way. And you see that? I'll come again from this point, here now. I'll mark on the line of D. I'll put it here, the same radius, and I'll bend it to that side. I'll have this. You can see that? First of all, I'm using faint line first. And I'll come to the next point also here. I'm going to mark on the line of D. Then I'll switch it to that point. Then I'll get this. So I'll do that round. I'll come again from this point. And I'll mark on the line of D. Take it here. And I'll switch it this way. I'll come here too. I'll do the same thing, mark here. I'll place it here. I'll do the same thing here. I'll mark. So you don't do that around your so now the next thing is, we'll be closing up the tip, right? You can use your hand, or you actually just take this to the end here and start closing it up, right? So I'll close them up. Let me just use this and close them up this way. So we'll move forward from here. Now the next thing is, the fillet is always here, and that is, you measure from the beginning of one tooth to the corresponding beginning of the other foot, or the other tooth, right? So if I measure it this way, from this beginning of this tooth, right, to the next tooth, 0 is 10, 20, that will be like 21, right? So you divide it by 7, you call it the wider over 7, and that will be what? 3. So it's too small, so we don't want to stress ourselves in measuring that. So you just take your hand, and it's very small to measure 3 on your meter rule, right? It's so small. So a good example is just, you ensure this is just closing up here. It's very small, and this is closing up here too. You can see that. Alright, so I was taking the rest out this way. So the next thing that we'll do now, since we've drawn out the spur gear, this is the spur gear, the next one is what? The rack. And we're giving the rack to be 125, right? One what? 125. And if you divide 125 by 2, you'll be having 62.5. Are you with me? So I'll just measure it towards the left and towards the right. So when I place put my ruler here, so I'll measure 62.5 to the right and 62.5 to the left. So that is what we have here. So I'll just call it my point A and my point B. Then I'll bring it down this way. And I'll bring it down to this way. Right? Then the next thing I'll do is, the addendum is 6, so I'll measure 6 upward. 6 millimeter upward from 0 to 6. And the addendum is 7.5. So this is from 0 to 7.5 to 7.5 here. Then I'm going to rule my line this way. Then roll this line to this way. Let me take them up. Let me take them up. So we'll start. Now, since the pressure angle is given to be 20 degree, what I'll do is from this point here, where this meets this, I'll draw a line downward this way. Let me first of all remove this. From this point here, point C, I'll draw a line down. Can you see that line? Not A, but I'm talking about C. At this point here, I'll draw a line down. So from that point, I'll now take my protractor and I'll place it this way on that point. Right? Place it on that point. Ensure it is well aligned. Let me take it up a little bit. Ensuring that it is well aligned, or let me bring it down. This way. So from this point here, where it is well aligned, this is 90, and this is 0 here. There's a 0 there. So I will just, from that point, I'll measure 20 degrees to the right. So if this 90 is 0, this will be 10 to 20, this is 20 degrees here. So I'll draw my line from that point to the point I marked here, this way. Faint line first. So it will be meeting this guy here. It will be meeting the addendum line here. This addendum line to meeting it there. Then I'll come again where that same PCD, the PCD, this line here, the reference line, we'll call it where the point, we'll call it the pitch point, that line there. I'll go to the next point again where it meets this, the addendum here of this, and I'll bring it down from that point. Come down straight. Right? To come down straight from here. Then I bring it down. So the line I'm bringing down here, this line you see that I'm bringing down here, I will now take my protractor again, place it at that point, ensure everything is well aligned, right? So we have this way, then I'll mark on 0, 10, 20, this 20 degree here. Now I'll take my ruler from that point and I'll move it to that point here. So it is meeting at this point, so I'm going to thicken it here. Is that thicken? So everything is stopping here. So we'll move forward. I can easily just thicken this from here to this point. And this to this point. Then I can just take this way. And I'll take this way. So we'll come again to the next one where it meets the same point also here. I'll bring it down. Then I'll measure, I'll do the same measurement here. From here, sure it is well aligned. There's the 90 point here. And I'll measure 20 to the what? To the right. 0, 10, 20 is 20 here. So from that point, I'm going to draw a line that will move towards that point there. You can see that? To touch this guy here. So from here, I can easily thicken it to this point. Can you see that? Then I'll come again where it touches this point also, right? So I'll just come to that point. I'll roll the line down this way. You can see that? Let me roll it down very well. Then I'll take my protractor to that point and I'll measure it to be the same 90 here that we have. Can you see that? So this will be 0, 10, 20, 20 degree. I'll take my rule from here to that point. Can you see that? That point. So from this point, I'll also do the same thing, 20 degree. Right? Then I'm going to thicken it from here to this point. So this will be coming down here. Can you see that? So I can just continue that way from here where it meets here to come down, right? And I'm going to measure another 20 degree from that side from this point. So I measure 20, this is 0, 10, 20 here, and I'll roll a line from here to go to that point. So I can easily just measure it instead of wasting my time. Since from here to here is just what we have here, I just do it here. I have this here, I'll come here and mark this here. So I'll roll it down. Then I'll measure 20 degree. See where I aligned the knot. This is 0, 10, 20 here. So I'll just draw from here to make that point. So I can easily just thicken this way. Then from here, I'll bring this down. Then we have this. And this one too. Let's measure this well. So you come here too, you do the same thing here. You bring it down. You bring it down. You just measure your 20 degree on the side. So this is measuring this 20 here. This is 0, 10, 20. Right, for this. From here. So this is 90. 10 is 0, 10, 20 here. So I'll just bring from this point. Now draw it to this point here. So from here to here, will be taken like this. Then I'll take in the same thing at this point too, measure 20 degree. Here is 0, 10, 20 here. And I'll have this issue. So here is just coming down. And I'll take in here this way. Right? So I'll do the same thing here. I don't really have to stress myself much. I'll just come to this point. Then bring it down. Measure the same 20 degree. Zero, 10, 20. So towards the left. So we have 0, 10, 20 here. Then I'm going to measure from here to this point. Right? Then I'll come to this other end here. So where it meets here, I'll measure another 20 degree. 0, 10, 20. So from here, join here like this. I can easily close here up, then bring here down here. So I just, and here also is coming down here. I can just close it up this way. Here it is coming this way. We're having things like this. So you can just continue the other way, and from this point to this point, maybe from this point to this point, then take the thickness, measure it here, right? Then from here, you can just bring it down this way. So you measure the 20 degree. Zero, 10, 20. This is coming here. I'll just have this. And I'll close it up. And this one will come down to 20. From 0. We have 10, 20. And I'll close it up. So come here. I have this way. I'll get that too. Let's bring it down. And here it's coming down. And here we'll just close it up. This is what we have there. Right? So we'll be having things like this. This is the rack, and this is what the pinion. Start taking. So in most cases, you don't really have to complete it, right? You can just draw maybe like, it might tell you 5 sides, you just leave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It might tell you 6 sides, you leave only 6 tooths. These are the tooths. So the size is the number of tooths, right? So if you have found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and also share the video. Thanks for watching.